In the last episode, I locked myself to Mount Karuulm. I flinched a bat to 75 combat. I found out Konar wouldn't give me a task because my character didn't know what Slayer was. I took a single tutorial task exception, then finally got told my first real task was going to be at the Kalphite hive. So that in the distance is the chunk I need to actually get to. But this man will not let me through unless I buy one of his passes, and I will need one of his ropes. So that is 23 coins. I am not getting back, but that's probably fine. I'll make more money than that on the way, or on doing the task, I should say. Go through. Are you going to give me a warning? Proceed. And let's make a quick run for it and quickly explore what the chunk has for us, which won't be loads, and I won't be able to stay around because I'll start dying. But we've got desert wolves, we've got Ukthankis. Ukthankis are actually interesting. Can I kill one before I have to go in? Because these drop raw camel meat of some kind that I believe you can make at level 1. Of course they retreat, very annoying NPC. Yeah, I believe if I can get access to a range or a fire later, I can use this meat. So I may kill a few just to start cooking off, because I'm not sure what else I will have available to cook at level 1. It's things like cows and chickens, and obviously we're not being set them as tasks. I don't think they show up anywhere. It would be a weird drop to have to find later. But they are level 42, so they're kind of rinsing me right now. So I might have to just call it at 2. I might go for a third one. I'm surprised desert heat hasn't hit me yet, but I guess I'm not wearing any armor. So yeah, I'll go for 16. I don't like it. No, I'm gonna play it safe. Let's use the rope on the tunnel entrance, climb down, and there's no desert heat in here. We're safe for now, and our task will be these Kalphite workers. A bit deeper in, we've got the guardians and the soldiers. They have better items. They also poison you, so I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to do my task here and get some loot and get some Slayer XP on the board. I don't know what these max, I should probably look that up, but they're only level 28, so I'm not in that much danger here. And they're not aggressive, so we have all the time in the world. Let's get grinding. And the first kill's already something kind of useful, so if I can get water skins, next time I get this as a task, I can bring water skins, and then I can spend more time up on the surface getting meat. Of course, if I get the other Kalphite task, the cave over to the east, I don't have to worry about them because the Shante Pass is in the chunk and I can just use that shop. So I guess I could leave, but then I can't get a rope again. No, I have to stay down here. Just kill the bugs. Just kill the bugs. While it's exciting to be, in a new chunk, I'm intimately aware that I've swapped killing level 27s by flinching them to killing level 28s by flinching them. And these hit hard. They hit 3, and they are quite accurate because I have no armor, once again stated for the 100th time. So the reality of actually doing this task is pretty similar to what I've been doing for the last however many hours. It caught me while I was eating, but there it is. That was very quick, actually. Hard leather body. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Defensive bonuses. Well, we've gone from 10, 9, 11. We've practically more than doubled our defensive bonuses. That is exactly what I wanted from this task. It doesn't really matter if I don't get anything anymore. We're finally gaining some defensive bonuses. And my microphone is miles away. Why is it over here? Task is going well so far, but I've managed to fill up my inventory, so I need to start making some choices on what we are going to smuggle back. I think anything stackable is kind of a no-brainer. Money is good, runes are good. Herbs are going to be good, so I want to keep as many of those as possible. I'd like the meat to train cooking, that'll unlock a skill for us. I'm a bit conflicted on whether to keep the gems, probably if I have space. But the first things that will be going is I probably don't need a second hard leather body. Steel dagger's a new item to me, but really I can't think of any reason to keep it. I was going over scenarios. And then the iron javelins would only really be for alking in the future, but they're iron. How much can they be worth? Yeah, that's not worth it. So yeah, I'm going to drop the steel dagger, hard leather body and iron javelin if it comes to it. I mean, we've got 77 left, so the likelihood is we get new items. And there's the first water skin. So yeah, let's get rid of all three, because I'm going to get more water skins anyway. They're a really common drop. And you're probably thinking, why bother keeping all of the water skins? Well, if I get the neighbouring task in the Kalphite cave, Shantae's shop is in that chunk, so these essentially become money because I can just sell them back to him. If there's any room. They might all fill up with herbs, we'll see. But that's my thinking. And we're just finishing up the task now, about on the controlled attack style. I hit 60 defense, which I of course missed and did not record a clip for, but it's okay. Any last loot? Some extra coins. So we've done quite well here. 1.7k is beautiful. That's money that I could only dream of from random events. Nice selection of runes, some of which are new. Emerald, 2 sapphires. Mr. Jekyll gave me a potion. Got my 2 camel steaks, and I've got a selection of herbs, and one of them's a guam, so let's clean that for the first herb XP on the account, apart from obviously Druidic Ritual. The rest of my inventory I filled up with water skins, that will turn into money, but there's nothing else I want to do here, and in fact I cannot stay because I've finished my task, so it's time to return to Konar and see what we're doing next. Just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for watching the first episode, for showing it so much support, for leaving any comments, including ones that talked about things I could improve and things about the audio and the technical aspects. I've been looking into more of that recently. Hopefully it's coming across in these voiceover clips, but the live clips were sadly before the video went up, so for the third episode onwards, hopefully the improvements will be coming across a bit clearer, but for now we'll just have to live with it. But yeah, thanks again everyone. And back home with the inventory fully smuggled. I realised I should have checked this chunk task off, so we've done that. Let's go put this in the bank. We can't get the same task back to back, so we can't get Kalphites and we won't get either of the areas they appear in. I'm going to milk it, let's just see. Where are we going next? Fire giants in the giant's den, okay. And here is the chunk we just got. Giant's den. The first thing that caught my eye was right on the surface. A cooking range. This will give us the chance to cook those camel steaks we smuggled out of the desert. As you'd expect from a place called the Giant's Den, there are a lot of giants here. Before I set off, I made a wish list of everything I wanted to get from these big boys. Some would be temporary upgrades, and some would be key items I wanted to smuggle back. First up, we have the classic hill giant, and his key drop is going to be the Iron Kite shield. It's not the best shield available here, but it is the first one I'll be able to get a hold of. I'll be able to upgrade that to a black square shield as soon as we start killing moss giants. And once again I could upgrade it to a mithril square at the fire giants. Because fire giants are my task monster, I wouldn't be guaranteed the drop before I had to leave, so I made sure getting a black square shield was a priority. The Moss Giants also have a magic staff, giving me a level 1 also casting mage weapon. Nobody wants to be the chunker that's manually casting spells for hours on end. And finally, the item you all probably realised was available as soon as I said the word Fire Giant earlier. I'm of course talking about the iconic Rune Scimitar, an absolutely massive melee upgrade that would become my best in slot for a long time if I could get one before the task was over. Fire Giants also have the Fire Battle Staff for future magic use, as well as the first source of an axe on my account, the Steel Axe. So I'm going to swap the spear for a Mithril Scimitar because there are multiple shields we can go and get in the new one. I don't think I'm taking any ammo. Remember to take these. And I think I just want to take as much space as I can to bring stuff back, so there's no need for money. Here's our new home for the second task. Looking beautiful. Let's check out the range first. Oop, where are we going? Oh, that'll do. Yeah, this is all within the chunk. Can we cook these successfully? Can we cook these at all? Yes, that's good. Raw Ukthanki meat. Nice start. Amazing, great, thank you. I'll see you next time. So yes, I burnt the meat. But this wasn't just me being unlucky. It's time for a fun camel fact. I can use that, right? Nobody's done that fun fact subtype yet, right? As you can see, at level 1 cooking, making cooked meat is about 50% successful. Now, it doesn't matter if it's cow or rat or bear, all raw meat to cooked meat is the same rate. Except for one. Can you guess which one it is? Let's take the look at the graph for Ukthanki meat. It's still a level 1 meat, remember, but the fail rate is so much higher. There's a 16% chance to cook at level 1 on a fire, and somehow it gets even worse on a range at a miserly 12%. I thought ranges were better than fires, but oh no, not for camel meat, not the janky Ukthanki. So yeah, why is it like this? Jagex, why is it like this? But I've just noticed these guys. Soldiers, sergeants. You're interesting. What do you drop? Not too strong. Might investigate this because I have a feeling that soldiers and sergeants, I have a feeling that they're not like regular guards. They have their own drop tails, don't they? I think the sergeant drops something, but we'll have an investigation. An investigation I did have, and while I stumble around blindly in the live clip, I will fill you in on what it is. So, our Shazian sergeant friend drops a rune kite shield and a rune scimitar. So, that's great news, right? I don't have to bank on getting the fire giants to drop me the rune scimitar. If it comes to the worst, I can just go and kill these guys for one before I leave. Well, the downside is they drop it in a 1 in 512, so not the best rate, and they hit pretty hard. It's not the ideal scenario. Fire giants would still be my preferred method of getting a scimitar, but the shield is interesting, and definitely something I want to revisit later. And here we see me discovering you can't get through to the catacombs from here. You have to go to the catacombs first, open up this passage, and then you can use it in either direction at any time. But for now, it's sealed shut. Oh wow, I just got a giant key on, like, the 10th kill, something like that. That's crazy. I don't have a use for this, but a collection log is a collection log. I got the iron kite shield from the hill giants, and it was very quick. I only was here for about 20-25 kills. And then, while it was on the ground basically, I had to quickly pick it up to get a mystery box random from a quizmaster. And then I opened my recording software and Runelight crashed because my new PC is not here yet. Let's forget all that, let's not complain too much, and let's open the mystery box. A cabbage, I will eat that at some point. But most importantly, the first shield. This is what I wanted from the Hill Giant, so this is very nice. We're building up a bit of tankiness again. I know I'm obsessed with defensive stats, but that's what happens when you spend 2.5 months flinching bats. But now we're going to take on some moss giants and get a few more upgrades. It was exactly 24 hill giant kills. I don't know why I just gave you a random guess last time. But also, I forgot, we also got mind runes, so I can cast Windstrike whenever I feel like it. I will probably find out the best thing to cast it on and then go do that. Maybe I can get a dagger because they have a +1 magic bonus, but moss giants drop a magic staff, so I might wait until that. I just want to maximise everything I can do with the runes because there's not a massive amount of mind rune sources that I can get. I'm going to interject for a second to talk about the bank rule. In the last video, a few people mentioned that my rule about using a bank if it appeared in the task chunk didn't make much sense, and I agree. Initially, I allowed using the banks, thinking of the Shantae Pass, where I would imagine I would kill camels for raw meat and bank it and get some supplies. What I should have been doing was thinking of Konar Castle, which has a bank and the entire catacombs under it, including the Giant's Den, and the Porthos Dungeon, and Seracnus. And this is way too powerful. Anytime I get sent to the catacombs, I would essentially turn into Verf in his starting chunk. And I don't want to turn into Verf, because that guy's crazy. For this reason, I'm not going to allow any banks except the one on Mount Karuulm. The only exception to this really is going to be Leo, the Gravedigger random. I'm still going to allow myself to use his mausoleum to deposit items. Because of its random nature, I don't think it's too unfair to allow this. And here we're going to have the first clip on my new PC, and we're going to celebrate by getting a black square shield. A minor defensive upgrade, and not the thing I needed from Moss Giants. I'm going for the magic staff, but, you know, I think this looks good. We're looking pretty peak. After the black square shield, the next thing I did was go straight to the Giant's Pit. Picking up big bones, burying them, repeat. Trying to get to protection prayers as quickly as possible. What? Oh. Okay, I'll take that. Guess it was going to happen at some point, but a longbone is very nice. Ah. 43 prayer. The prayer level that everybody knows because it gives you protect from melee. Yep, as we saw in the live clip, I now have protection prayers. But at this time, I didn't think I had any way to restore my prayer other than dying, and I didn't want to do that, obviously, because of my hardcore status. The prayer points were scarce and had to be spent well. That said, I figured it was time to give the fire giants a go. So let's get you set up somewhere. There, there? Will that do? Yeah, I think so. Oh, that was easy. Here we go. 153, that's nice. Into the Den of Giants and Walking Volcano. 2 combat tasks, but the drops were not impressive. I was so scared of losing those precious prayer points that my flicking was awful, which you could probably tell from the way my health was so low in that last clip. But after going back to kill some moss giants, I made a great discovery on how to restore prayer. Oh, I have full prayer points again. Hold up. Does this count as the catacombs? I think it does. I've been burying the big bones and I've got full prayer points again. Hold up. If so, that is huge. I can restore my prayer wherever I want, as long as I'm in this chunk. And if I drain it again in the future, I can come to either a catacombs task or a giant's den task and get my prayer back. This is huge. This is big. I had some kind of idea of prayer restoration in the future, but that was a long way off. If I can have it now, that changes the whole game. So we're on 33. 35. Awesome! 2 prayer points every big bone. That is amazing. So now I have a way to restore prayer. And here's a little demonstration of what it actually involves. Once my prayer is drained, I have to run out of the cave, go up to the giant pit, gather bones and big bones, run all the way back, fill my inventory, bury them, restore some prayer, and repeat until it's full again. What? Another long bone? That's crazy. I've just had one from you guys. The inventory's getting dire at this point. I'm gonna keep it for now. The mithril spear I'm only keeping because I can sell that back at Mount Karuulm, but that's a candidate for dropping. I'm keeping these Morentals on the idea that I might get enough guams to hit level 5 herb lore, but if I don't, they're a bit of a waste. I suppose I could drop the gems, I already have plenty of those. I'm not cut out for the UIM life, so choosing what to throw away is going to be painful, but based on how things are going, I'm not going to get through this whole task without making some tough choices. Aha, that's what we're after, a magic staff. Well, I've still got the inventory space. I thought I'd check out the little magic setup, and I'm going to use a amazing 12 wind strikes on some hill giants to see if I can get any levels. If I can somehow get up to level 5 for water strike, that is a massive elemental weakness on the fire giants, that it will shred through them in theory. But based on these 12 casts, I don't think I'm getting anywhere close. We're hitting some 2s. Of course, with magic, even splashing gets you a level. We'll get a level. I'll take that. Level 2 magic. And just like that, we've got our inventory back. So, back to the normal gear. That's magic, everyone. Ooh, Dark Totem Base. I forgot you could get them in here. Oh, but that's more space being taken up. I will end up dropping this, I guarantee it, but for now it stays in the inventory. Ooh, Steel Axe, that's one of the items I would like. Yoink. Oh. Not the item I wanted, but it is a better shield, so let's put that straight on. Get rid of this trash. And I pressed on with my Slayer task until eventually this happened. Yes! Oh, yes! Thank you. Oh, I'm so over this mithril scimitar. Oh, that is gorgeous. not even that many kills, but this is going to be such a good upgrade. Look at this. That's 21 going to 45. We've got 20 strength going to 44. This is huge. Ooh, the first Brimstone key on the account. That is very nice. Ooh, Doctor to middle. Things are getting pretty... Can I merge these? No, I need 3. I'm going to drop the ruby. If I can get the third piece of the totem, I can save spaces again. I got a battle staff, and now I'm out of space. We can drop the Marantils, I think. I'm going to drop 1. I'm going to be really greedy. I'm going to absolutely fill this inventory by the end. Oh, it's Leo. Yes, I can actually deposit this stuff. Oh, this is a whole new inventory. Oh, look how clean this is. I'm not going to use law runes either. Saved. Guam leaf, so if I clean this, that's level 4 herb lore. Hey, there's 37 Slayer. That'll be the final Slayer level of this task. So while I'm just flinching this last fire giant to death, I thought we'd talk about the end of the task. I considered whether I wanted to stay in the chunk and farm the Shazian Sergeant for the Rune Kite Shield. It's a 1 in 512, so it would be potentially a bit of an ordeal. And I decided, no, I'm just going to finish the task, get back to Konar and see where we're headed next. Since getting the protection prayers, I don't think getting the shield is critical at the minute. We can always come back here with another fire giant task in the future. There we go, task complete. So let's pick up my last loot and head outside. And it's been our home for a little while, but it's time to turn out the lights, so let's take it off our unlocked chunk list. There we go, there's nothing more we can do here. So let's return to Konar and see where we're headed next. Honey, I'm home. Let's have a new assignment from you. Trolls south of Mount Quidam Morton. Okay. Before we leave off on an adventure though, let's use our very first Brimstone key. Whoa, pause. I'll come back to the task we just got, but first let's break down the Brimstone chest and some of the more useful things we could get from it. Any piece of the Dust Mystic set would be amazing, as every piece is a chunk task in itself, and getting them all is a long-term goal of the account. Most of the chest loot is various supplies that will be useful down the line, but they're not really worth talking about right now. What the chest does have is full rune, each piece at a 1 out of 20 rate. The helm and legs are instant upgrades, but the plate body is of course useless due to its Dragon Slayer requirement. The chest also supplies fish at a 1 out of 20 rate. Which fish you get varies based on your fishing level. It drops in sizable amounts and will end up as one of the best sources of food available to us. Okay, clear? Good. Resume the clip. And take a look. Magic logs. I think that's going to be pretty cool eventually. That's a magic short bow, potentially. That's about it. I don't think there's any other thing I can burn them. That's not going to be very useful. Magic longbow as well. Magic shield. What leather goes with magic shield? It's one of the dragons, probably a black dragon or something like that. Cool, yeah. So we're headed to south of Mount Quidam Morton to fight some trolls. Sounds simple enough, but the first problem was getting there. So just getting to this mountain is going to be tough because we've got the lizard men on the path. I don't think there's a path around them. They can poison. If I get poisoned, there's a decent chance that's the end of the hardcore, and I don't really know what to do about it other than hope that doesn't happen and I'm currently waiting out the aggression timer, so we see some guy wandering here. After 10 minutes this border goes solid and I'll be able to walk up safely. And then there's a bit of a dash, so I'm about here, and you're safe at this. I've got to basically run through one chunk worth of poisonous lizard men, which is a bit scary, but at least I'm not this guy with his head on a stick with an arrow through it. So I'll record the run and we'll see if we can get away with it. Alright, we're safe up to this border. So this guy won't attack me now. I've got to make it to a bridge. Got to make it to that bridge. And the only path is round here. So, he's going to attack me right away. Let's just throw on protect range and run for it. That's what it's there for. Oh, hold on. I assumed I couldn't walk through that. Okay. I can go from here. That's a little better. Let's go. Ooh. One hit. 2 hits. No poison. And he's not going to get me. Ah, we got away with that. Fantastic. And there's our destination. Awesome. Let's have a little explore. So this is the bridge to Varlamore. We can't go that way. We've got soldiers again. Do we have a sergeant? I said we'd get back to that shield. We do have a sergeant. Okay. That's something we could do. We've got dead trees here. If we ever get an axe, we can come back. Bear cubs and grizzly bears. That's a supply of meat at least. So, oh, onions. Can I get in there? Unattackable goats, but onions you can eat. This is terrible food, but it is food. Okay, that's interesting. I'll take a few onions. So yeah, what I was saying about the bear meat is when I'm leaving, I can always fill my inventory with the raw meats to cook later. Hold on, this fire. Is this like a firefight? This could be a cooking training chunk. Hold on. Do the cubs drop the meat as well as the adults? Sorry, Mother Bear, I'm going to kill your child. Yeah, I just don't care. They do. Please work as a cooking fire, because this would be huge. And of course, I burn it just like the other meats. Yes, but it does work. That's great. Okay. Cave you can't do anything with. You can't go in there. Here are the reason we're in the chunk. We've got the troll camp. We've got a few up here. Got level 69s. They're all level 69. I think they're all the same. We've got another fire here. That's good for cooking more meat, but I'll probably not use the one next to aggressive trolls. And up to the chunk border, that's the path to chambers that we are wall ends here. Awesome. So I did not know there was a fire here, and I did not look up that there were bears, so that's interesting. I might spend, before we get started with the actual slayer, I'm going to spend some time killing bears and cooking meat to get some cooking levels, because that is going to be very useful to us. Right. There's no way we burn 28. So we'll give it a try. Yes! Cooking 2. We got something cooked. Awesome. It's really going for it on the burn rate, isn't it? These aren't like the Ugthankis. These are normal bear meats. These should just be cooking... the levels are rolling. I think these improve quite quickly, and it's a fire, not a range. That's 3. There's 4. That's 5. And 5.5 is what we're going to end up with. So I'm quite happy to stay here and just kind of kill these bears and get a few levels. The question is, what level do we want to reach? What a good question that is, past me. To find an answer to what cooking level should we get, let's consult the following graph. This is the graph of what type of fish you get from the Brimstone chest. Note that it scales on your fishing level, not your cooking level. Thanks to Evil Bob, I have 28 fishing, and so my loot is almost entirely tuna, swordfish, lobster, and monkfish. Out of those 4, tuna's the lowest at 30 cooking, so that is the minimum level I chose to aim for. What the hell is this burn rate? So from there we got into a cycle of killing bears, cooking meat, then using the meat up when killing trolls, then going back to bears again. And it wasn't long before the upgrade started rolling in. Ooh, Adamant med helm. That's a nice upgrade. We are looking slick now. It's 10 cooking. It's 15 cooking. 44 prayer. That's eagle eye. 20 cooking. Ooh, 25 cooking. Aha, raw mackerel. I'd like to cook this now, but unfortunately it's noted. But one day we will. Aha, cooking 30. That's a lot of stuff, but most importantly that's tuna, which we can pull from the Brimstone chest and eventually get our hands on some better food. Ooh. Adamant Warhammer. I believe this is a chunk task because it has the highest strength requirement we have. So if I wield this, will it come up automatically? Yes, it will. There we go. This bear cub is small. Smaller than the bear. That makes sense, right? Look at this bear cub. This bear cub is... like, you do not need 4 tiles, sir. You are a tiny little bear cub. Why are you so wide? They're the same level as the others. They are slightly bigger. It feels like someone coded this bear cub to be a bear for some reason. I don't know. Has anyone noticed this before? Am I just going crazy in this weird picnic area? Whatever. More meat to cook. We're here at the bears. We've got 1 troll left on the kill counter needed. So this is the last set of meat I'm going to cook up. We reached 34 cooking, which is nice. It's the 30 I wanted, plus a few levels to reduce the burn rate when we get to tuna. We didn't get any more keys other than just the 1 Brimstone key, unless we get lucky in the last one. I'll kill you for a change, actually. Yeah. Collection of loot. I got the Addy Warhammer that I'm keeping. I can sell that at Mount Karuulm. That'll be quite nice to get some money. I'm keeping a few spare Adamant medium helms. There's a place in Barbarian Village I can sell those later if needed. I really thought I would stack more of the coal and mackerel. I think I only got a couple of drops of each. And because I've got extra space, I'm keeping a snakegrass seed and a snapdragon seed. I don't know if they're particularly useful, but we might as well get started on building some piles of those. So I'll eat 1 meat and then pick up the big bones and berry, and that is everything I can do here. Let's return to Mount Karuulm. I'll use this Brimstone key, put away all my loot, and then we'll see where we're heading to next. Before we go, let's turn the lights out. Like so. And I'm going to home teleport back and walk because I'm not going through those lizard men again. Back to the bank. During the last task, or rather a little bit before, because I didn't check this, we got 41 Slayer, and we are actually able to get some good equipment that will be an upgrade. So we've got the mirror shield, which is a task. I don't think it beats the current shield I have, the mithril square, in melee, but I think mirror shield doesn't give any negative mage or range bonuses. So that is a task in itself. There's the witchwood icon, which I don't think gives much, but I think it's the first prayer bonus I'll be able to get on the account, which is interesting. There's the insulated boots, which, considering I have nothing on my feet at all, are going to be nice bonuses. I was one level away from getting the Slayer gloves, and of course 44, the boots of stone, is what we're currently aiming for to get access to the Karuulm dungeon. So you have adamant warhammers. Can I sell you this? A little bit of money, that's nice. And the spiny helmet will be sold back to Konar. So let's sell her that and then buy a few upgrades. How much is this? 390. Not bad. So let's buy, where are they? 1 insulated boots. That's a chunk task. And 1 witchwood icon. That's a chunk task. And of course 1 mirror shield. A 3rd chunk task. So that's nice. Let's just wear them. So very minor defense bonuses. A little bit of yellow trim on the ankle. Very nice. Oh, it's also a magic attack bonus. That's not bad. And our mirror shield has some defenses and no negative bonuses to attack. So that's a nice hybrid shield. Let's open this chest up and see what we get next. More magic logs? I got magic logs last time. Okay, I think I've got plenty enough for them. I'd quite like the key to give me something else next time. So during my troll task, I burnt away all my prayers, so going to the catacombs or back to the giant's den would be fine. I'd be able to restore my prayer there. Of course, there's many other options. Let's just see what she gives us. Hellhounds in the Stronghold Slayer dungeon. Oh no. Oh no, I want to go there, but not yet. I think this is bad. Okay, let's break this down. My setup for this chunk, I think, is just my regular gear with the new upgrades. I'm not bringing the witchwood icon because I don't have any prayer and I don't think there's a way to restore it. And just all the meat I saved. I can't think of anything else to bring. As we're going to see, this chunk is not very inspiring, at least right now. But maybe something will appear that changes my mind, but my hopes are not high. My low enthusiasm was warranted. Hellhounds have one of the most boring drop tables in the game. Ashes, death runes, clue scrolls. That's it. Unless, of course, a miracle happens and we get a smouldering stone. There is our new home for the next task. Oh, you thought we were in the Gnome stronghold? No, the cave is right on the border and it doesn't count this section. You know, where the agility is and the shops and all the interesting parts. No, we get the rubbish section of the Gnome stronghold. We don't even get Neve properly. She's just stood looking at us from here. Oh, flax. Pre-made Choc Saturday is a gnome drink that does heal. Awesome. And it boosts strength. That's quite nice. So we've got a very budget strength potion that respawns here. Because one of my account's exceptions was to complete Rune Mysteries, I do also have access to the Rune Essence Mine, which is something I thought would be interesting because I remember from days gone by seeing this pickaxe in this rock and thinking, hey, that's one of those, you know, grab bronze pickaxe out of rock. You see it with hatchets and stumps. Nope, this is just scenery. I don't get a pickaxe here. I can't mine this Rune Essence, so unless I have a breakthrough, I don't think there's anything I can do in this area. Anyway, let's go inside the Stronghold Slayer Cave and have a look around. Now, there's not anything we can really do here. And you may be thinking, hey, there's lots of monsters. There's Bloodvelds, there's Anku, there's Fire Giants again. But you can't fight anything that isn't your task in here because Neve gets mad. So really, the only thing I have access to are these Hellhounds, and they are very dull when it comes to drops. They have Ashes and they have Death Runes. And they have Hard Clues, which I can't do. And I immediately find the flinching spot, that's what I was after. I think these are 2x2s, so they're quite easy to get stuck on scenery. So really, I think this is all we get to do at the minute. The only exciting thing that could happen in this chunk is if I spoon a smouldering... if I spoon a smouldering stone, the 1 in 32,000 drop. So unless that happens, expect this this task to go through very quickly. Not to me, of course. This is going to take forever. But for you guys, it should be very quick. Oh, yeah, combat test, of course. The pop-up scared me. I thought it was the stone. Imagine the first kill being that. They only heal 5, that's not great. It's less than I'd hoped for, but it is food. And that's tanked my attack immediately. I probably shouldn't have drank 2. Tech has been discovered. I can do this and flinch 2 at a time, and it's much faster. Oh god, this is going to be so bad. This task is going to be so bad. Another random, another lamp, straight onto crafting, and that's level 3. Hey! No, it's not, it's level 4. I can't count or read. Has anyone guessed what crafting is going to be for yet? Hey, that's 44 Slayer. That's... They didn't tell me anything, but that's Sulfur Lizards, that's Stone Boots, and that's full access to the Mount Karuulm Slayer dungeon when we get home. For a little context on how slow these kills are going, flinching, sometimes the Slayer, like, tile in the corner telling me how many kills I have left just goes away. Look, we'll see it come back now, but there's enough time between these kills that it just disappears and gives up. It thinks I'm not doing Slayer anymore. Last kill, we can tank this guy. The task has been quite nice to us. We've got 5 ensouled heads, 4 Brimstone keys, that's quite generous on rate. And I filled my pockets with flax, ready to head back to Konar. We'll open the chest, and I want to have a little look at the dungeon before we pick up a new task, so there'll be some interesting things in there to look at. So, let's say goodbye to the gnomes for now. Turn off the light and head back to Konar. Hello, Konar. This was my 5th task, so it is the first one that I got some reward points on. So we can probably start thinking about unlocking something at some point. So this one, like seeing red, Konar will be able to assign red dragons. That's interesting, that could be some new stuff there. Unfortunately, she doesn't assign Tazar, which would be very fun to do. But she does assign lizard men, so those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about unlocking. One thing I'd kind of like people's opinion on is the like a boss unlock. Now, on paper that sounds great, right? If I unlock like a boss, I can be assigned boss task, I could go all sorts of places I wouldn't normally be able to, but will it be too powerful? That's why I'm kind of on the fence about unlocking it. It would just become a series where I roll for boss tasks, I try and get some really good drops from them, and then I come back and roll over the content. Maybe I'll just say we're not going to do that one. Extend and buy, nothing too interesting in there. Herb sack would be very useful for the future though. That might end up being my first unlock, is the herb sack, just so I can take it with me and pile up on the herbs during the task rather than dropping the majority, which I do right now. I will, however, buy some boots of stone from you, which is a chunk task which didn't appear. It kind of appeared, whatever. These are pretty crap, but they're slightly better, I think, than the insulated boots for most things. I think insulated boots will be mage and range based, and these will be melee boots, perhaps. I don't know. Renar seeds. Ooh, monkfish. A redwood seed. And dragon dart tips. Well, it wasn't rune items that would be nice to have, and it wasn't more magic logs, which I'm glad of, but these are... Ew, I don't know about this. Dragon dart, redwood tree seed. I'm not too far from the farming guild, so there is a reality where eventually that would be used. Raw monkfish is definitely the best thing here, so if what cooking level do we need for that? It's a meat. There we go, 62. Okay, that's not a million miles away. So if we can stock up a load of raw monkfish and I can cook it, that's not a bad food to have. While Past Me takes his first steps into the dungeon, let's remind ourselves of what's inside. Let's skim over the hellhounds and fire giants. We already went over them in the tasks, but now we have full unrestricted access to them whenever we want. The big boys of the dungeon are the hydras, the drakes and the worms. They require more slayer levels to kill and are pretty dangerous, so I'm keeping my distance for now. The last two are the most interesting to me right now. The greater demons have 3 melee upgrades, the mithril kite shield, the adamant legs and the rune full helm. Finally, we come to the sulfur lizards. These little yellow friends have an absolutely cracked drop table for ores and bars, which all come noted. This drop table alone is why I don't consider smelting to 85 for a rune bar a meme grind. They also drop rainbow fish at a pretty good rate, a hyper obscure food that heals 11. And sulfur lizards being 50 combat means eventually I'll be getting more of these fish out of them than it takes to sustain me. Right, Konar, where are we going next? Trolls? In Keldagrim? Okay. Where do you count Keldagrim? East of Relica. Interesting. Very interesting. That's tough. I don't know if I want to stay and kill greater demons or run off immediately there, because Keldagrim is huge. And I've just today decided to do the rule where I don't use a bank. Apart from this bank, so I wouldn't be able to use Keldagrim's bank, but it's a huge area, and minecarts connected to even other bigger areas. I'll need to look into this, give me some time to think, and then I'll come back and we'll decide where we're going. Before I forget, we have another thing from Konar. We can buy and wear some Slayer gloves. So what are the bonuses on them? They're actually pretty good. At the risk of sounding very terminally Trunkman, a +3, 4 and 5 defense bonus. Compared to the boots at least, they're pretty good, and we don't have anything for the glove slot, so best in slot gloves achieved for now. So I came up with a plan. Before I go to Keldagrim, I wanted a few things. The city of the dwarves will be the first time that I can reach an anvil. So when I go there, I should take the chance to bring some bars with me, while also going at a smithing level where I can use them to make something useful. So the plan was, fight the lizards, collect the noted copper and tin, smelt that at the furnace, and try to reach 7 smithing so I could go to Keldgrim and turn them into bronze knives to start ranged. I quickly found out that right now sulfur lizards were too strong to fight consistently, so my plan became the following: fight the lizards until my health got too low, go and smelt any copper and tin I'd got, then flinch greater demons for upgrades while my health restored. Ooh, that's alright. That's a slight upgrade at least. It's the first item we need. At some point I gained a prayer level, which meant I gained a prayer point. And I tried to flinch with it for a while, but... well, this happened. No! I lost my 1 prayer point. So after that little trip, we got our first tin ore, so I can combine that with the copper ore I've gotten from the sulfur lizards, and we can get some of the first smithing XP on the account, which would be very cool to see. Behold, bronze. Hey, 2 smithing. Aha! Addy plate legs. That's the best thing I could have gotten. Because I don't have anything on my legs now. Let's see those bonuses. So good. It looks so good. I'm very happy with this. It didn't even take that long, really. What was that? 30 kills. Nobody can complain at that. That's 3 smithing. Hey, 70 strength. It's the first 70 on the account. Feels pretty good. Feels like we're getting pretty strong. And that'll be 4 smithing. That's 5 smithing. And there's 6 smithing. And there we go. After a couple hundred lizards, we've got smithing level 7, where we can smith bronze knives. That's what I was going for. I'll just finish this inventory off, and then we can start deciding what to wear, what to bring, and we can get off to Keldgrim. But that is going to be in the next episode. I didn't know it yet, but Keldgrim was the key to unlocking a huge power boost, and the creation of my first master plan. Once again, a huge thank you to everyone who watched the last episode and stuck around for this one. I'd like to leave you with some questions and clarifications on my rule set. The first one is, should I be able to do boss tasks? My lean is towards no, but I'd like to hear your perspectives of this as well. And secondly, when Konar says Keldgrim, does that mean I should be allowed to use the minecarts to access the dwarven mines? My assumption is that Konar told us to go to Keldgrim specifically, not take a minecart halfway across the world, but that is the opposite way that a chunker would usually approach these areas. So I appreciate it would be a change from the norm and something I'd like to hear opinions on as well. Thank you.